Disclaimer. The information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GANs processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
And if you read book, I think 1 or 2, I explain even in the vacuum of the best vacuum, there is still materials. So the way you have to load up your system is what I call a hydrogen wash. You first of all you sterilize your systems thoroughly. That is, you sterilize them. That there is no fat. You never use hand to handle your reactors. You always use disposal gloves. If you assemble the system without disposal glove, you find problems because it's like a fingerprint. Fingerprint is fat. So the fat can convert into hydrogen, nitrogen, what you don't need in your system. To try to work in a very clean environment, and what you do, you clean it with alcohol of a very, very high level of alcohol, purity, 90-95%, that level. And you allow it to evaporate in a container, not in the open air, that it doesn't absorb more rubbish on it. Or you work within the container which is a vacuum condition or clean condition. And then you assemble your reactors always with gloves, and if you by accident touch something else, change glove. In one experiment I use up to 50-60 gloves because it doesn't matter. The reactor has to be thoroughly, uncontaminated as much as possible. In a mass production, you make your systems in a way you don't get contamination. But in trials and the system like which I use, I open my reactors maybe 10-20 times in a day because I want to see different combinations. So you have to be always aware. If you put a reactor together or your system together, use your hand, go back, clean it before you assemble it, because then you see the problems in the future stages of the work. So when you do that, try to use inert gas shielding. Inert gas shielding gives you a lot of advantages and much more rapid ionization because they themselves participate in it.
Mr. Keshe, does that require the reactor core to rotate, or are there better ways to do that procedure?
We have tried every possible, combination. And in some, it depends what you want from your reactor. You get different parameters, you get different performances. For some tests, you can use central rotation core. This is for mainly lifts. It's very, very nice to be able to use. For energy, you don't use that kind of thing, you use the other point. Some people try double rotating cores. Double rotating cores are one of the most powerful systems.
So you're saying would there be a globe within a globe in that situation?
Yes, this is the most powerful, but control is very hard. It has a lot of problem. It has inherent problem. I built the very first one in Tehran about 5 years ago. And now we are in 3 and 4 layers reactors. We passed 2. But to produce such a system, you need a lot of knowledge and a lot of understanding of the fields and what gases you put in. Because in a 3-4 reactor combination, you create different layers of shielding. 2-3 core layers, rotating layers, used for defense of the system, for high speed and what we call protection, like in the cosmic dust.
Mm-hmm.
You use your reactor, the first 2 in the cores maintains your gravitational magnetic field. The 3rd and the 4th you control with your subsidiary reactors for shielding in the direction and strengthen. So what you do, you bring in your 3rd, which works in the outer boundary, and you use one of your 120-degree reactors to strengthen the shield in the direction of the motion. So you have 2 layers. This is part of the defense, and I'm sure Iranian governments use it in their space technology, especially for capture and landing. You have to maintain your gravitational, but you increase your dimension with your 3rd and the 4th reactor. This is very important when you travel into or you create variation magnetic field testing, that you can get away with the first shield, use a central core plasma. Central core plasma, very much like a sun. Then you have to know how to create different layers of magnetic field in your plasma core. You do it in a
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 588th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, May 1st, 2025. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation, Spaceship Institute, Education Department, and part of the public teachings in English. My name's Rick Crammon, and I will be host once again in this wonderful weekly series of workshops ongoing for over, I think it's 11 years now. And the excerpt we showed in the beginning here was from 2013, and this one was from the first public teaching workshop, the Keshe Public Teaching Workshop, which was the precursor to the Knowledge Seekers Workshop. And I'll post the link in the chat so that people can have access to that series of workshops. Okay, I think we're ready to begin, and Mr. Keshe promises opening a new dimension in science today. Please go ahead and explain, Mr. Keshe.
Yes, thank you very much. Good morning, good day to you, as usual, wherever and whenever you listen to this through the Knowledge Seekers from Keshe Foundation and Spaceship Institute. In the past 13 years, 12 years, as we had the first session, we explained, we took you like a teacher from showing you the first words, the first steps, the first knowledge, bit by bit. We brought you in from gases from nano-material into space technology, into application of the dynamic systems, into energy levels. Then we brought you to cosmic rays, and we brought you into soul. And all this has a pattern. We don't do anything without reason. And in the past few weeks, few months, if you go back on the teaching, I use a word quite frequently, but in a way I set the scene for what to come today. What we will share with you today will change the course of history of man in respect to science. The reason for it is twofold. First of all, mankind as knowledge seekers, which we will follow in a big way in the coming weeks and days, is ready to take that step. We are ready to break through the knowledge. A lot of things you hear around the background, and a lot of things you hear about what Keshe Foundation is doing, what we're doing, and now we have a very strong arm under the Macray Corporation of the United States that allows us to break through industrial revolution. Theoretical is one side, and practical, showing it, is the other side. Commercializing it in a massive way is the other side. And this is what we as knowledge seekers set up the Macray Corporation for. It belongs to us, and it's the way to break technology through international. But at the same time, we have taught you in a very deep way. The knowledge you have is astonishingly so deep. Many of you have it, but you gathered connections, collections, bits by bits together, and you listen to a lot of knowledge seekers, and this brings us to the evolution in the science. What evolution is? We know everything about the matter. We know everything about what we called opposite to what the whole world does. For example, you hear about fusion system. Chinese is spending billions. They can hold it for 1,000 seconds. And then the French can do it 3 seconds more. They broke the record. We saw in the past Americans, NASA, whatever they call that, they could produce so much Tesla. And we showed with a simple way how we could achieve 129. And we hold the plasma together with a huge energy, and you knowledge seekers with a few cents put a caustic in there and do more than what the people in CERN do, but they can't accept it because they're connected to the world of matter state. We work both. We understand the matter state and we understand the energy state, what we call the cosmic ray. And this is what is the next step in the world of science comes to. Today's teaching will be extremely controversial, but I tell you why we are correct. We have built a system for it. When you build a system, you are not anymore in the realm of theory. When you build the system, you work in the dimension of the reality of time, and by law of physics, if you can repeat it and control it and bring it up to a position of understanding, a position of what we call working with the parameters, which gives us a chance to be able to what we call new dimensions. We understand deeper the science of creation. Rick, I have a problem in getting a whiteboard set up on my system. I don't know why. Could you please open a whiteboard and let me to work on it?
Okay.
My system does not give me the option of whiteboard today. So what it comes to, oh, I have it, I've got it. If you go out, I can do it here. They've changed it up, they upgraded the webinar and they moved it to another position.
Yes,
So,
right. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so thank you very much. So what is important for us as knowledge seekers to understand how to bring the dimensions of the creation together. What does this mean? We know about cosmic rays. We know about planet Earth. We know about us as collection of fields. We know about us as being today 1st of May, day of labor and revolution of the communist explosion for rights of the workers and the rest of it. So we have a place, we have a position of being Labor Day, and then we have another dimension to it, and then we give it a time. What does this mean? In the structure of the physics of today, if you heard me many, many times, especially in the past few weeks, months, I refer to time, place, and position. I set you up, as you all know, I'm good in setting you up in a very good way for you that there is something comes in the future, but you just listen to the words, you don't look deeper into the structure. What does this mean? We call this one place. Yeah. And then we have a position. Our position. We are human, animal, tree, whatever we are. And then we are always called, this is your position. And then this is your time. You see the triangle. But this triangle does not work because one part is missing. And this is possession. What do we possess? Now you understand the triangle of creation, which when all three are working, you create time. Time does not exist if you don't have a place. What time? Is it Monday on the moon? Or is it first day on the moon? Position is, are you going to manifest yourself as a dog, as a man on the moon, or as another creature? So your position in what you appear important. Position is strength. I'm a man, so to manifest myself as a man, I need to have a certain magnetic field structure, which we call the amino acid. Amino acid is a magnetic field structure. So we know the position, we know the place, and we know the possession. In this point, then we arrive time zero. Beginning of time is when we decide on what it be and what we're going to appear as, and then in what field of strength. Because if I change the field of strength, the time moves. You all ran a star formation. This is the basis of the star formation, if you look at it, and time is there. If you slightly change this, this moves. If you slightly change this, this moves. What does this mean? This means for the first time, we don't need to travel. If we change the strength of, we can move the time. We can live in different platform, in different dimension, as a man on the moon, but in 1,000 years ahead. So now we don't need to do the transmutation, because now we can move the time. The knowledge of controlling the time through the strength of magnetic field is only possible, not in the matter state because it's solid, it's stuck. Only is possible in a plasmatic cosmic ray combination. In a way, we have found the key to travel time, to travel the space, to travel the energy, to travel the position. Go back to the teaching of the beginning of some of the teachings. We always refer to, we don't want to appear, we cannot appear on the moon with the structure of the man, unless we change the strength of the amino acid of the man that can stand the condition of the place, which is the moon. So we cannot do that because the time is not there. We create the time. In a way, we can go to the future. And now, in the hand of the Keshe Foundation scientists, there is such a machine. We have developed it. The time machine, in the true essence of working, is in our grasp. Now we have completed the condition of the creation according to the dimension. In a way, we see the time. We can create that time. We can change the time. We can bring totality to the system, and understanding how I don't need to go to the moon. I can be here, change the magnetic field condition, bring the time to the position of the life, and live as I live on the moon, on planet Earth. All I did, I changed the place. I chose a different place. This place creates a different dimension of time. The basic foundation of time, the basic foundation of the creation of plasmatic fields creates what we know as a structure of life in the universe. So parallel time exists. We created it. Now we have the knowledge to create the parallel time. By changing the cosmetic magnetic fields of the position, changing the cosmetic condition of the position, or changing the cosmetic condition of the place. This is why, if you go back to the teaching, I said, in time, I'll create for you a fish in the tank. I show you how, when you want to go to another place, how you look when you get there. Now this is the knowledge of it. This is the science of it. Now we know how to create dynamic magnetic fields. You cannot do it with the matter state magnetic field. CERN is one of them. They are trapped in the time and the position of solid magnets, trying to create a condition where the mayhem we see, high temperatures and the rest of it. If you move the position's gravitational magnetic fields, if you change the position magnetic fields, or you change the position magnetic fields, time will move. But the question to ask is very simple. Are there other with a different gravitational magnetic field in the same place with the same position, living in a different dimension of time with us? Yes, they do. We call them aliens. Those who gather this knowledge in the space, maybe they were even created long, long after man was created. But they got to the knowledge before we do, they traveled up. This is why we see them, we don't see them, because they live in a different time space. But they look like a man, they are on the earth, and their gravitational magnetic field inside is in their control to change it. They're here, and the time for them moves to another plate, another dimension. In a way, if you listen to the intro, you have the 4 reactors. How you play with it. You create a gravitational magnetic field, you hold it, but how do you change the position and time? You can manifest yourself, and the time does not exist till you show the position. From that moment, time is yours, is your time. This is how different time zone, different time, what we call interfaces exist. I change. I want to hold the time. I change my position. 2 things can happen. Position can change or the place. I don't need to travel. If I keep myself as a human, my position I desire is New York. I'm there. Can I live in the different dimensions of time? In time, we teach you how. As many of you know, is now public knowledge, 10, 11, 12th of May, in city of Beijing, for the first time, we show this remote. We endeavor to create a condition as one of the demonstrations, the creation of materials of given time. I showed you this last week as those white dots. These are possessions created in time, kept as earth, but places to fix. The position cannot be fixed, but we fix the position, and that's what it showed itself. To show this knowledge, we have set up a structure of teaching for years to bring you to this point. It's not anymore, can you transmute me? Can I transmute? Is where position, time, and the place I want to clear to be, to manifest myself. We all have this capability within us, where we bring the interaction of the soul and the soul of physicality to each other. Soul of physicality is position. The soul of the man is a possession. The place is earth. The time starts when I arrive. If you understand this and you can change 2 dynamics of the structure, you can travel the span of the universe instantaneously. But you have to understand how to create these fields, how to control them, how to manifest them. And in that structure, you have to learn how to create the elements in an energy level to be able to confirm the conditional creation of multiple time, not as zone on Earth, 3 hours behind, 2 hours ahead of Greenwich Mean Time, but in the strength of the magnetic fields, in the dimension of gravitational magnetic field position and position. So now we open a new dimension. What has been theoretical, can we travel the time? Now we know how. We have the science of it. Now is a knowledge, is a technology. Do you still want to sit in a craft, take you 7 months to get to the Mars? Hopefully you have enough food, you packed everything properly. The guy on the Earth did not make a mistake, like the aircrafts, tanking in the wrong way. You run out of the water halfway there. You get to the Mars and you're thirsty and die. Or you sit there, you get to the Mars, month, 2 months, 3 months, you got the right track to come back, another 7 months. The round trip of 18 months can be done in 18 seconds. Because now you can change the dimension, the position, and the position. This is how you transmute, how you go from A to B. This is why many of you have a problem with transmutation. We saw this in the test we did last week with the knowledge seekers. We interfere with their emotion between the interaction of the soul of physicality and the soul of man. We don't need to change. We adjusted. One of the knowledge seekers, I felt love. And exactly on our communication with our center of control, we added combination which creates to love, with create knowledge. We can create everything else. But in the same structure, we can create to eliminate wars, conflicts, killing, because each one to kill creates an emotion. Now we have the knowledge, and we can reverse technology, the killing, into dimension of time, when the whole of humanity has never taken place, but it still stays as man. The evolution, once the man understands what's on the screen that you knowledge seekers look at, will bring a total change in the fabric of the society, of the human race. Now, you want to be 1,000 years? You adjust the energy fields to live, because you keep the position and the position. You play with time by changing the dimension of the place, or you change another parameters. We, in the what we call star formation, we tried to create a lift. Now we create a time. When we did the first structures, we showed energy inside the plasma balls in Sanya in 2017-18. The object wasn't there to show you, the object wasn't there to lift, was to bring the position to now the creation of the plasmas and interaction with each other can create time. Time machine of the creation in the control of man. But we don't have fast enough computers, so we have developed the technology for man to understand on the level of emotion, where you control the knowledge seekers, that they become the captains of the future of the space technology in time and the space. They understand how we control. It's easier to control 7 than 7 billion. In the sessions which is set up, we were supposed to do it tomorrow, we do it on Tuesday, because some of you know it's a bank holiday, and space-time of here, some of the knowledge seekers who are participants are not available, or they're celebrating different things of the May Day holiday. So we moved the time to Tuesday, because we have different countries celebrate different days in between. So when we meet you lot with the 7 participants of the last time, you choose yourself a captain. You'll be sent a list of 7 captains. Who do you want to trust your soul with, that he creates a time, place, and position? And can we all meet at the same time? Selective time by the captain brings position and possession to all the others. This was taught very early in time in the knowledge seekers. Trusting your captain, trusting the man. This time you trust the captain, you go in with your luggage on the suitcase, on the chart, on the arm, on the aircraft, and you think he'll take you from New York to Washington, nothing will happen. You trust him with your physicality. Now you have to trust him with your energy, with the soul, with a combination of the emotion. Today's teaching will be a watershed in the world of science if you understood. And if you haven't understood, it's another teaching. For centuries and decades, what's on the picture, on the screen, will become the blueprint for the evolution of the science of the society of man. How we'll travel, how we'll do it, because without the emotion, I cannot create the position and position. And what's the use if I don't know where I'm going and what time I create in the life of that time for me? Because from now on, my time is a zero time, not the time of the place and the position. Because the place has been there. I am moving into it. Or if you are the pure soul, you create the dimension of the time, you become the star. That's your position. And place in the time of zero of the time, in that place in the universe. This is why we taught so much past 2 or 3 years about the soul, about this emotion, about the soul of physicality. Because if something happens with your emotion, instead of ending up on planet Zeus, you end up in the center of another galaxy, another universe, and the rest of it. And this is why in the demonstration of the past 2 years, playing with you lot who came every month, so let us to play with your soul, we saw how you lot panic, how you lot go, and then suddenly one of you panics, the whole lot of you fall. We see it clearly. So now the structure it goes, you can travel with a donkey, you have a Joyce with a what you call UFO, and you thought they are very advanced. Then you move to another dimension of traveling as a transmutation. Now you travel the way the Creator travels. He creates a time at the presence of his energy. At that position, you manifest yourself with a position of time, zero to start. Then it comes a big question for mankind. Does time exist? We live in the time of the creation of planet Earth. We are not living on the time of creation of us. And once man understands this, you understand why this planet is the greenhouse, is where we grow the seeds of the soul of the man for different dimensions of the universe, as this dimension, this energy given to it in a position and a place will start at zero time, start of a life, start of a cycle. This is why we have a big conflict in the world of science. Earth was created now with a new idea 4.5 billion years ago, but up to now, everything was created 4.5 billion years ago. Now we see 13 billion years, and then it happened for the Earth to be created billions of years later. Did it happen? Or is it all place and time, all created instantaneously through different field strength of the position, place, that the time has become one and the rest is all? Did the fields of the Creator travel billions of years to make Earth, or was it there in a position and a position as one cell, the rest solidified into it, in a way manifested into it? And is there parallel universes? There are parallel galaxies in respect to each other. We talk about a lot of things. We see the mirror reflection and the rest of it. But now you have a machine, you can create it and change the evolution of the science of man. For the first time, you understand the creator of time is you. At the field, the magnetic gravitational field, in the plasmatic condition of a consideration of the position and the place, you create, you start the zero time. And if you want to keep everything in the three position, place, and the position. Then, in changing any of the three parameters, you move the time. You become a time travelers through the true essence of transformation and transmission of energies, and not by wormholes and dog holes and every other thing which you never understood. In the exhibition of 2025 in city of Beijing, we try remotely to show you how. In a way, we allow people come to some of them to dictate and see what does if they change things. For the first time, we show you what we call the traveler of time, the spacecraft system, which has been developed, and we control majority of its outcome. In a way, if you remember, I showed you the gases last time. And you remember, I showed you the material last time. There is a purpose. We don't deal with the matter state, we deal with the energy state. But we have to understand what the energy state in matter state is, that we decide the combination and position of time. Today's teaching will change the world of science if the scientists understand how the world has changed. Do you want to see the beginning of time than being part of the time which is created and the condition of the earth at the same time as the rest of the universe? When you have a moisture in the room and you suddenly change the condition that every space has exactly the same temperature and the pressure, and then you suddenly change one of the parameters, you see the water crystals. You see bits of water, ice hanging, and then you see that's exactly what we do. So, in a way, if we freeze time, we can see different dimensions of time across the universe. Does multiple time exist? Yes, if you understand how. If you understand it's a combination of interaction of the three different elements in plasmatic condition, which each one has a position, and a place. Then the whole universe suddenly sparks out with thousands and millions of stars and galaxies that we never understood. We're trying to adjust it 4.5 billion, 13 billion, all created at the same time as the fields of the universe fix this time. What happens if our universe moves in a different position, that the external gravitational magnetic field of the universe, according to its position changes, our time will change, our manifestation will change, our structure will change. It's exactly like being a water and suddenly put in the freezer, different condition. Space and time is the place where the soul of the man, through the emotion, control of the emotion of the man, will dictate the manifestation, what we call the position. My position, I am in the figure of man. I've changed the strength of my soul. I appear as a fish. Many of you have done, but you don't understand. But then you're at the same time. If you understood that, you closed the door after time, you locked it, and you change what we call magnetic field of the position, you have changed the position. You become a dog. I saw myself as a mermaid because half of my structure still connects to the dimension of physicality energy. The other half has moved on. I saw myself and others in different shapes and forms. Because now you have locked, you put your foot down, you're still connected, you're still part of physical life of this planet, time and place and position, but you see another time space. Because what we did last week, in the latter part, we changed the enlightenment, and some who God received it, they moved on. Once we create the condition of enlightenment, there is no need for fear, there is no need for peace, there is no need for love, because everything below it is in it. Now we have a choice. We become a time travelers. We become what we call transmuters. We become transferers by UFOs, or we become man still pushing the rockets, the cars, and the rest of it. We can choose any according to which one we change, which dimension of the fields of the transmutation, of the transportation, of the possession of the position we decide. Now you understand why emotion is so important, because the emotion dictates the place, the position, and the position, which in interaction with each other creates the time. The time machine is in our hand. Many of you will travel through this time. When we bring you in on Tuesday, some of you will see that. You will receive an email. Respond to it who you want to be your captain. We decide two options. If we see two men with one of you, we push you to the other one. You have to trust us. Your knowledge seekers from China, knowledge seekers from Australia, knowledge seekers from Canada, from South America, from Europe, from Asia. You play the game with us. Now it's time to enjoy the game. Nothing is coincidental. You use the word for me to tell you, come to me to lens. I use the system to give you the dimension of the emotion. When knowledge seekers who were with us explain something to us, they don't know what they explained, but we know what we did for them to get that feeling, that emotion. After today's session, we have a meeting with them to prepare them to become the captains of you lot on the Tuesday session. And these 7 captains will stay for life of the testing with us. We don't change again. And in that position and position, we bring the operation of the 7 captains to the members of the Universal Council. It's their decision how they want to interact with outside. We see this in the next 12 months, maybe more, maybe less. Depends on how the evolution of science comes. Now was creation of the time and time travel, different times, different parallel world, parallel things, all make sense. You change any of these parameters. You change, you build reactors, which we talked as an intro for each one of these, which creates different condition of, your time will change. Now the man has a technology how to play with time. Those of you who will be allowed to come into the exhibition, we'll give you a chance to play with time. You will see the feeling. You will see how parameters changes according to your wish. Time does not exist unless you have a place, you know what you want to appear as, and what field is going to use to. And if you change the other 3, the time will manifest itself. You call it a dream, now it's a dream machine. The process of creating and playing with time in the essence of plasma condition is the way the universe creates time for us. When I listen, they say, oh, it's taking 5,000 light years to get here. Oh boy, our scientists are not even at the infancy of the knowledge of the creation. They're stuck in the little toy, what I call, we call them specific name for them, and repetition of the same habit to confirm their existence. Autistic, in understanding the knowledge of the creation and repetition of the same mistake to confirm that we are correct. As knowledge seekers, you made different reactors. Now, if you understand how to control each one in a specific way, you can create time, move time, see how it looks in 10 years' time, how it looks in 1,000 years' time. I always said you cannot see the past, but if you know how to create the time, you don't need to go out and look for the fraction of what it was as a dynamic structure, but you go to the time when it was created. Can you influence the future of past to the future? Again, it depends what emotion you put in the dimension of the creation. In a way, if you play with the position and position, you can play with emotion. And that emotion creates a time, which gives the time the place. In understanding position is the soul and position is the soul of physicality, then you have to manifest the time, but you have to have a time to manifest yourself. I made man in the image of myself, but I gave man the knowledge of me to make my image. The knowledge of the space technology is according to what I said from the first days, according to the intelligence of the man. If you understand, you are not prejudiced, and you are prepared to understand the totality and not draw a border. This is how much my intelligence is, that's what I want to understand. Then, if not, we become monkeys, see one, do one, without understanding, and then we have the what I call the feedback and the kickbacks of the future. The only way we can stop the killing in the race of the man is to move the time and change the position. Because the position will be still a man and the place will still be the earth. Changing ganses won't do. Changing the whole structure of the time on this planet will bring that position where the man cannot even have in his memory the dimension of destruction and killing which has been inhabited. Now you understand why at the beginning I said we bring the biggest change in the world of the knowledge of the man, because the knowledge of time is the essence of the creation and the condition to manifest, to be understood, to exist, to be part of. Then you understand why half of the universe looks dark. As is in another dimension, in another magnetic field strength, and it's in another time that is not open to us. If we change the time in a combination of the structure of our system, we can see what is in that dark position, the place, the position, and the position. If you don't have these three, you can't have time. If you're another man, you don't exist. Time doesn't exist. If you don't have a place, you cannot manifest yourself. So time doesn't exist. If you don't have a strength to show itself to be have a position and position, it never existed. So the time is zero. But what happens when the knowledge of the man comes to the point that he can play with time? That's another chapter in the knowledge of creation. Because when you fix the time, you fix the place, position, and position. Isn't this what we do? We call it the summer, winter, blah, we fixed it. This is what's going to happen in the summertime. Spring comes, the flowers come, we feel better, and the rest. We have so much tuned into it that even those who have no essence of another dimension all create their own offsprings at that given time we call the spring. Maybe for the first time you understand why even what you call the spring, what you call the cycle of life starts. Because of the magnetic field constantly coming to the same position, creates another condition of the position, which creates condition of place and my hope is that mankind will understand the creation of time, the space gap, the conditional, and will not abuse it. Because this is the key to travel the span of the universe without rocket fuel, without UFOs, without transmutation, but understanding the process of the creation of time. If time does not exist, nothing does. There is no position, there is no position, there is no place. In one word, if you understand the teaching of today and truly be able to translate it in the dimension of the work of the physicality of the man, you will find how standing still at this time, you look like a dog, cat, stone, and everything else, and carry all their emotions, even though you still remember your soul is the soul of the man. I made man in the image of myself. But is man knowledgeable enough to understand what my image is? Does he trust in himself? Does he have the capability to trust in himself that he can change the time? Now you understand how easily man can make his time travel interfere with time of itself, and in that position and a place, creating a new dimension of manifestation. I hope you understand what this means. I hope those of you who become involved in creation of time and time travel of the future of the man respect, understand, and be grateful for the knowledge you receive, that it does not start another cycle of killing as the man has got used to it according to the time and the place of this planet, where the place is wrong, but the man and his soul is perfect. Maybe it's time to move the man times of manifestation, or move the man to another place that he can live through the soul of physicality and physicality of the man and the soul of the man in a given new time. Now we have the technology, now we have the machinery that actually creates time. This machine originally was made around about 2014, 2013 and before. To cover it, I called it the energy reactor. But in fact, the way it's designed in the layer of instruction creates a combination of time. Those of you who come to Beijing, if we're lucky enough and the time allows, understanding the position we have taken, will some of you be able to change some parameters and then feel within you what time you have created, what energy you have created. and connect yourself to the material of the time and the place and the position, and understand you are thousands of kilometers away from the source. And if you can cover that time, you can cover the whole span of the universe. Always has been the dream of the man, a time machine. Now man has the technology to create the time that becomes his machine to be able to travel the span of the universe. And is a gift for Keshe Foundation and knowledge seekers to humanity, as we are all the tools to bring that position and time for man to move. I hope, my deepest wish is that no man abuses the time. As if you abuse the time, you have to stand the time of what I call understanding the mistakes one has made. It's the way the Creator manifests, and it's the way that parallel world, dimension of field strength exists. And you have to understand the parallel world of different energies. It brings parallel worlds of light. I hope sooner than later, mankind will be able to move to bring this new time and dimension to us. And this is why we decided now, when I teach like this, as you've been with us, Vatican and others, on this break out of nowhere, the skies have opened. Knowledge of the man is pure. Try to understand the knowledge of the creation, and into what you understand is where you'll be. On the back of the donkey, the rocket, in the UFO, transmutation, or traveler of the time. And this time, we have given you the full option. It seems a lot of you would still like to be on the donkey. And the others don't exist, are fairy tales, because you don't carry the knowledge, the trust in the information and knowledge of your own creation and nothing else. In the coming time, in the future, and the future teaching, I try to bring this down to the point, one by one, how you control the time, how you change time, and you will see what's the future of me in space. Why I was born? What's the reason of my birth? And where shall I end up? And what will be the time and the place where I will be, as I can change it during the time when I have the chance to change the dimension of physicality. I hope mankind will not abuse this machine, because mankind has to understand how to control the time of existence. As we have had this machine for years, I put it as usual right under your nose that you never saw. But now our knowledge scientists have reached that point that they can dictate the time and place and creation of the fields that changes the time. Place, position, and with it comes the time. We go for a break. Come back, and I hope many of you will understand the world of science has changed, as man could never understand and tried many times to change time. But now everyone has the tools to change that time, and the way look into the future of their soul as an energy plasma cosmic condition, and actually physicality of the man, which is hard to move. Can we go for a break and come back?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Keshe. All right. Wow. Great beginning to our workshop. This is the 588th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, May 1st, 2025. In our second part of the show, the attendees here in the Zoom will have an opportunity to ask questions of Mr. Keshe. You can put up your virtual hand and then we can allow your microphone to open so that you can speak. Otherwise, you can put questions in the Q&A preferably, or in the chat, and also in the chat in YouTube. Okay, back in a few minutes.
The new Vertical Enhancement Spaceship Unit. A plasma space technology to prepare humanity for transportation and transmutation in deep space. Essential processes are embedded to prevent mutations and psychosomatic conditions during deep space travel. This new system is designed to support upper body conditions, especially of the lungs and intestines, and can be targeted specifically for each organ. When inside the Vertical Enhancement Spaceship Unit, the body experiences balance in totality, enabling it to correct and rebalance all the fields within itself. The new Vertical Enhancement Spaceship Unit, a dimension in health and transportation never seen before.
Okay, back again at the 588th Knowledge Seekers Workshop. And because it's the second half, as I mentioned, we have an opportunity to ask questions of Mr. Keshe. But first, I'm sure he will have a few things perhaps to say before we begin that. Mr. Keshe, are you there? And would that be true? Well, I'm not hearing you right now, so perhaps he needs another minute or two to before he opens the microphone. And I'll just remind our attendees that you can raise your virtual hand on your device and we will note it and be able to open your microphone when the time is right. We do have a hand up here now with Mehran. We're still not able to hear you, Mr. Keshe. Your microphone is closed, so I'm assuming there's something going on in the background. So bear with us till we open the channel there.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. So as I was commenting, we presume that you have something you'd like to say or discuss before we indulge in the questions.
As usual, we always do. It's very quiet to keep Mr. Keshe quiet, isn't it? As many of you know, the financial arm of the Keshe Foundation, we set up some years ago as Markme Corporation, has entered the dimension of the larger scale, what we call commercialization, and bringing the technology that every man on this planet can benefit by it. And as we have been always supported by the Chinese community in different levels, we planned this some months ago, and we moved everything in that between the 10th, 11th, and 12th of May, in 10 days' time. We kept the time short deliberately. We even kept our closest knowledge seekers work with us in the dark because it could have created different problems for us, into position to bring the knowledge forth in a public presentation. The public presentation is primarily set for the world ambassadors in London and in Italy and in Belgium. In past 10, 12 years, we set up different ambassadorial positions. We have positioned ourselves as a presentation in a very small space in the ambassadorial area of Beijing, which means any embassy within 5 minutes can be there. We know the Russians, the Americans, and the what we call Japanese representatives from the embassies will be there. And more or less is in the hand of the what we call the Chinese community to bring the rest of the embassies in. But on the other hand, we have taken position in one of the most prestigious places in Beijing, which this structure has never allowed a presentation of this scale and this position to be used for the premises. As of the respect for the Keshe Foundation and the work we do, and they know us for such a long time, for the first time the international management of the group has allowed such a small exhibition to take place in one of the most prominent positions in Beijing. Even the management are in a way surprised that their head office has accepted with the presentation, such a presentation. We are not set out to bring millions. We are set out to bring social media, to bring it to millions. The display is behind a larger scale window that anybody from outside can see. We have set up screens that one can directly see. And we wait and we structured ourselves in a way that the social media to bring the news out and to start showing. In so many ways, we take the message right across. It's the responsibility of knowledge seekers to inform the social medias, to be in Beijing, to pick up the stories from Beijing, and we post directly on X and other social medias directly on a continuous basis, on a daily basis, if we can. And I'm sure that the social medias will pick on it. The purpose is two things. Launch of Macre in the massive, larger scale as operational arm, financial, commercial arm of the what we call new technology development. It is important for knowledge seekers who bought shares. I know many of you have bought many shares. Make sure your shares are physically certified in your hand, as there are some fake ones around because people bought and sold fake shares. If you have bought any shares in Macre, please make sure you have a solid copy from the agents of the Macre Corporation from stock exchange, or what we call OTC. You got to understand, we are facing a position to bring the change, and everything has been set up to bring that change. Some of the close people to the Keshe Foundation know, but being aware of this move, they're being aware of coming up over past months, and you will see the board of directors, closest allies and friends, and the people we trust in 100% will be seen on the scenery, and with their help, we bring the change. As you've seen on Macre, one of the highest ranking diplomats, highly trusted, close friend of mine for years, has been appointed as CFO of Macre Corporation. Ambassador, ex-governor of Central Bank of Sierra Leone, and the man we know for years, even though he's very prudent. If you go on the social media, they say he's the only ambassador who never gave a function. He did nothing because every cent to him was good to be spent for his nation than giving free lunches and dinners, trying to be sociable. He always said, they want free dinners. The American embassy is open every day. I don't need to. I save the money for my nation. Being a governor of Central Bank, and he's accompanied me to Sierra Leone and many other functions with the permission of his president, has been always, my nation comes first. Why should I spend money when my nation needs? And now we see the same pattern some 12, 15 years later in Bofasa, how the Niger and the other Mali nations have taken nation first, the richest nations on the planet, supplying all the metals of the world, are the poorest. Now they're taking over. They're using it to feed their nation. And it was his motto. Years ago, when I sat in his house with him in Freetown, he said, I don't need much, as long as my nation has to eat. And as you've seen, he's been appointed as a chief executive financial officer of the Macre, and we are in the hand of one of the most prudent men I know in the world of finance. You will see the new directors of the Keshe Foundation appearing in the next few weeks. And each one we trust with our life, with our heart, and we know them as knowledge seekers. The operation of the Keshe Foundation is in its commercialization, and the future of man sits in all understanding the technology. I hope we set out to show. We know we'll have huge resistance from governments, don't want to see it be done, as we know the President Bofasa had over 20 assassination attempts on him. As I was talking to a diplomat, he said, Mehran, you had 60, better watch for more. They're coming after you because they don't want to change their status quo, but you already have changed it. It's a responsibility of us to bring the change. Teaching is done for long enough, and now it's time to bring it to be useful, applicable, and we have found a number of very solid financial groups who will work with us to bring this out, where we are the provider of the knowledge and not running of the structure. The changes will appear in the next few weeks and months, as you will see, but do not be surprised that many strong groups stand behind us to bring the change. And I thank many of you who brought us the help. And now you understand why I said many times in recent past, we had to lose a lot to learn how to do it without losing. And now we are in that phase. Understanding the knowledge is one thing. Bringing it into dimension of the operation that everybody can enjoy is a different thing. We had people right in the heart of the Keshe Foundation in China, outside China, in Europe, and people close to me who betrayed us. They sold us for their own personal reasons and their own benefit. We wish them all bad because their greed, their personal vendetta brought us to where we are today. We would have taken a different path, would have been different, but we are where we should be, and I thank many of you who've been there to support us. In a way, the whole of Knowledge Seekers thanks you to bring us to what we all believe, and in 2 weeks' time, in the beautiful city of Beijing, we will see the change. I'll be in China at that time, and do not expect just because you're knowledge seekers, you're allowed to come in. The space is small. The position was chosen not just to be there to possess. If you come in, if you come to Beijing to see it, stand behind a window, enjoy the knowledge, and be part of it. The more of you come, as we could, if you get the permission to allow you in, spread the knowledge because it's your turn. I've done my side, and the knowledge seekers behind us have done their turn and their turn. As usual, we carry on with our work. We don't want to stop. The 7 people who've been with us immediately half an hour after the close of this session, please come back on the same channels that we can test. We want to understand more in how you take your position at 2 o'clock on Tuesday as the captains of the trusted souls by the knowledge seekers, and where you're going to take them. If you don't have trust in yourself, you cannot guide others to oblivious positions you don't. As usual, to celebrate the launch of the Keshe Foundation on its financial arm, what we call the financial side of the Keshe Foundation, has opened a very nice thing. It says as a gift. We put it as a cosmic surprise. If you go on the website, you will see it has been posted today. They've done a very nice thing. They categorize it in certain amounts, and this is a surprise what you're going to get as a knowledge package. Maybe in a 250 package of you take, could be a cosmic ray, it could be a communication bundle. And the one you take 2,500, you might get just the 2,500 worth of whatever it could be. We decide, but the whole thing was the basis of trust. Are you in it to trust it, or are you in it just what's in for me? Go on the website today. It's been put on. There's a limited numbers, and you will receive whatever you pay for is a surprise, because your 250,000 purchase could be 25,000, could be 10,000, and 5,000. It's been put in there how you trust the work of yourself and not us. And it's very interesting how we set it up. And it's a big change. And in the coming days, watch the space during the exhibition. There are going to be some huge announcements that will be made which bring the change in the structure of the Keshe Foundation. I hope you enjoy it as much as I had in the past years to teach you, and you enjoy it as much as I can share with you as a knowledge of the Keshe Foundation. And we will not stop the teaching just because we're going into international commercialization of technology. with the support of local, national, government, financiers, and the rest of it, because that's not our job. We are knowledge seekers, we teach the knowledge. And to bring it that everybody uses it is the job of the financiers. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you enjoy. Those of you who can get yourself to Beijing, do so. That'll be the biggest surprise. We have explained to the confirmation of what you will receive on the social media and from the Keshe Foundation channels, what will be there to be seen, but don't expect to be there and to do because you are there. You're there to support, to spread the knowledge, travel from all over the world to it, and be there to bring the change because every soul counts. Any questions? Yes, it's called cosmic mystery. It is mysterious what they put in that package.
Okay, I'll put that, I'll post that to our chats here so that people can access that new posting.
Some of these packages deliberately has the structure, you understand when you receive it, that allows you to move into the time travel structure of the understanding of cosmic rays. That's why we keep it a mystery, but it doesn't mean that all of you are going to get it.
Now that you mentioned cosmic rays, what is that interaction between what you taught today, the place, position, possession, and time, that interaction, that tetrahedral sort of configuration? Now we have cosmic rays entering into that scenario. How do they interact with those entities?
Cosmic rays. Radiation comes from the matter state we are used to. Cosmic rays are the rays which come from plasma. And they don't come from a matter state. Nuclear radiation comes from a matter state of the field. Cosmic ray, like the ray of the sun, comes from the plasma condition. And it's understanding in a deeper way the essence of the creation. We don't create, if you go back, even in the 13 years ago, we just listened, we speak about this in more or less the same way. You were deaf, we are awake. You couldn't understand. We tried to bring it in different ways. And the plasma and the cosmic rays and the cosmos has been always, it's been part of, in the background, in the front of the teaching, always been there. Now we brought it all to separate what is the matter state, what's the energy state. Energy state fields are all from cosmos. It comes from plasma condition of the universe. Everything else done comes from the matter state. But we have thought over years and over time about the fields of the universe. And that's the difference. Cosmic ray is connected to the energy of the plasma. The other rays you talk about is what you get, X-rays, gamma rays, whatever, is connected in condition of the matter state. Even though the interaction of the cosmic rays can create in the space the radiations.
So cosmic rays would have an effect on the position, especially being that of the physicality. And what about the possession or the soul of the man aspect?
But we change it with the emotion. We change that with them. You see, this is what I was explaining very recently. We assume, we see, we observe that the rays of the universe go in from the South Pole and we have a huge South Pole ice, and they come up from the North Pole. We have a very small size ice, and we always say the temperature on the North Pole is between 3 to 5 degrees higher. On the sun, it's 15 degrees higher than the South Pole. And the addition in the energy of the system, we never could explain. Now we understand the addition in the energy comes from the extraction of the fields, more or less from the radiation fields of the cosmic ray inside the body of the planet, which we call the central core, where we always considered is a metal and rotates and creates blah blah, but in fact is a plasma condition of the hydrogen or fundamental element, which creates fields at the strength of the absorbed or interacted magnetic field from the South Pole, adding to it with a higher strength to leave the North Pole. We have never ever measured the actual magnetic, singular magnetic field which goes in from the south and comes out from the north. Now, if we create a condition after creating the magnetic field, the strength of what goes in the south, mix what with the technology we have now, our fields, we'll get what comes out of the North Pole, which we never had that knowledge. We always used the universal materials. We never worked with the universal materials. And a little bit we call it solar cells. We try to get it to use it for ourselves, but we never actually gone into to work with them. And this knowledge, what we call plasma technology, what we call cosmic ray technology, what we call matter state technology, each one has separate parts of this structure. And we have to understand them separately. We become very good in the matter state. We ignore the others because we don't understand there's something wrong with the people who do it, or they are very, very intelligent. Those of you who moved from matter state into nuclear to understand the radiation, whatever, I always said, why people respect nuclear physicists? Not because of our knowledge, it's because we killed thousands of you in one bomb called Hiroshima. It's the fear of respect, not the knowledge of respect. With the cosmic ray technology is respect of the knowledge. I always say, if you've been around me for decades, I said, you know what, you like to listen to me. The minute I say I'm a nuclear physicist, he's dangerous, he understands more, we better play with him. Because if Americans want to use a Hiroshima bomb, a nuclear physicist would make a mechanical physicist, engineer. No difference. We are categorized out of the fear of existence. The knowledge of cosmic ray should be categorized of beauty of the creation. And that's where the difference comes. And this is where we have to understand the difference. And once we understand the difference, we are all nuclear physicists. When we understand this, we're all become part of the knowledge of the creation, which is the cosmic ray rays, which comes from cosmos. That's what it means. The essence of creation is not something new created. We never understood. Now we understand, and we're putting it in a way that everybody else understands it. Any other question?
Okay, thank you.
You remember, Rick, when we start teaching about the gases, the mayhem we had with the knowledge seekers, he's gone from nano-technology to this, and we went to the soul, and what's got to do with the soul with it? Now they know without the soul, you don't have the position and the position, which is the emotion. Without the emotion, you go nowhere. You have no time. Now let's see what cries we get with this creation of time.
Yes, indeed. It's always a challenge that way for the new knowledge coming through.
Any questions?
Okay, we have a hand up or two here. Let's start with Marinez, who's been
I would
patiently.
like to tell you something very interesting. Sorry, it's totally out, but it brings a lot of things. Early this morning, I received a coded message, or in a way, a message from outside the community of Iran, people we work with. And the message, very direct, addressing me in name, says that you see how the God is taking revenge on the Israelis. The whole of Jerusalem is burning, and the rest of it for what they did to the Palestinians. I read this message about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I sent a message back to His Eminence Ayatollah Khamenei in Iran and his officers who are part of we work with. I said I can release one day the Farsi text message of this. It's a voice message, because I received a voice message. I responded back the same. Now the message was, now you see these are burning for what they did to the Palestinians. I responded to Dr. Khamenei in a very direct way. And I know they're on the line, I listened. I said, I always supported the cause of Palestinians. Not because of what they say they are terrorists, but they, as a human, they are the origin of the faith. All our religions comes from Palestine. And for what they did with the Christ in crucifying him, they took the love of God from them, and they became banished and no homeland for thousands of years. And in what the what they did to the Israelis, they were the Palestinians in the past couple of years. And as I said in the teaching of the past, I said, go on and listen to my teaching a few weeks ago, that I have banished them to the far corners of the universe, that there is no life that they can suffer with their own, what they call, pain. They have no one to harm anymore. And I said to them, now you understand the message and the messenger. If the banishment was taking the love of God from them, this time you banish them to a point. And it comes to a point that we should not rejoice with the suffering of the others. Does not matter in what position. We can remove those who bring the suffering, but we do not rejoice in their suffering, because they bring it to themselves. And the same will be for man and mankind, with understanding of the time, position, and the place. Any of them you do wrong in, you will get the wrong end, and you have to balance it. And this is why it goes, literally goes with the teaching of Mitra, blessed her name. Do good, act good, and think good, because all these are the pieces of place, position, and position, which make it with it brings the time of joy, the time of existence. Carry on.
Yes. Thank you very much, sir, for all these amazing teachings, freely for years, all you do for us. And really have to read this teaching again and again to really absorb the breakthrough about time, and I congratulate you and all knowledge seekers. And I think a whole lot of countries who are protecting you. And well, in regarding to my first question, I think you answered it because there was a triangle, and the first was I mean, there was a second one was position, and the third one, I think it was position. Rick said position was the third angle. The first one was a space, but the triangle you put, it was, was anyway. The third one was the position. You made it triangle at first. How in one space there is the position in what form we are here, and then a time, and the third one was, you said position.
You have the place and position and the time. This is what we always referred in past months and weeks. The third place, which is the time, does not exist. It's like when you have a star formation, the fourth place decided by the interaction of the fields of the tree. Now we have the condition, we can create the fields of the place. We can create the gravitational magnetic field of the Earth. We can create the gravitational magnetic fields of the body of the man, because that's the shape of the man as a structure. But now we have the possibility to change that position with the field strength of the possession. What is possessed that creates that position or that place? But when you create a field positioning and a field positioning and a field of place, which they interact with each other, they create their own time. In a way, if you ever worked with the star formation, how you change your parameters in your reactors decides on the field force. We put the fourth reactor to enforce it, to lock it in a position. If you don't put a fourth reactor on the top, it finds its own position. You never fly, you never separate from the Earth or wherever you are. But now, because we haven't dictated time on top, because even time itself is made of fields, because at given time, given what we call a strength magnetic field, a time is created. Now we can play with time. And this is the beauty of the understanding and the knowledge. We can fix the time, we all live as we are, and if we increase the energy of the position, we travel with the transmutation. We go to the lower level. As a human, we travel in a physical dimension. That's why we taught about the soul, because soul is the only part which the fields of can easily be manipulated, because it's one energy source. Position, it depends how many molecules and what you put in it. Position, the place depends on the cosmos. What is created in that field is in a way, magnetic field, the mass, and the weight. And in their interaction, they create a time, because you see, we call it the birthday. There is no birthday. It actually is a manifestation of a body entity out of another. The child is born, an event taking place in our position. So the time only exists when the three come together, when the place is there, the fields are there, and the child in the body of the man as a human is created, and the time starts zero. But we had no say in it. Now, understanding, we can change all three of them. With that, we can produce any time. We can dictate time. I can dictate the time, what will be in 1,000 years? Because everything which travels in that 1,000 years will be at that position at that direction. This is what I decided. It's my wish. And then you understand why wish is important in the whole structure of the interaction of the fields. We don't time travel. We see the time, which is we travel to be in that position and time, because everything will grow in that time to that position, and all the interactions will be there. We cannot tell the future, but the future is told by interaction of the fields of everything. It's very much, I can explain it as like nowadays they take your picture and then they say how you look in 40 years' time. Now we have that capability to how we look. We become travelers of time. And this is instantaneous because it's plasmatic, rather than waiting to age 100 years and die and the next child be born and the rest of
it. And what about that zero time creation?
Zero time creation of me could be time of 1,000 years for you. You understand? Because I decided how you look in 1,000 years is where I start my life thereon. This is why we have a problem with the whole of humanity. Because the soul of the man is indented, is damaged by the behavior of the physicality, place, and time. The place has not provided what it was supposed to do. Satisfy the hunger of energy or body stream. What the position has done to compensate, it kills for it. And in a way, the position which is fixed because you need 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes, blah, blah. So it follows the same. If we change the place, magnetic field energy, what we call the position does not need to do because it has everything for its confirmation. So the position can be any field. The time will freeze. The time is, that's what it is. It's like you putting a magnet in 3 magnets and a 4th one in the middle. You just try one of them, move them strong or weaker, forward or backward. You see how the time floats up and down, how your magnet starts vibrating.
Yes. So position is how we are. Hands and legs.
Position is how fields of us are, what the strength it is.
Okay. Thank you. Very, very interesting. So
And those of you who come to Beijing, if we be able to get you to see or to try, you can talk to the center and see what you consider, what you want to do, what reaction it will show on the energy level, on the matter level, on everything else, what you produce, and what's the reason. That's why I say you cannot produce nitrogen in the planet Zeus, so I mean, that's that man cannot exist. Now you can dictate what, and you get the outcome and see how it looks, this material. When you move it to another position, then you see the manifestation of it. Does it look like a dog? Or is it a cat?
yeah, we have to reset everything again. We have to start.
We don't need. It's an addition to the knowledge. Nothing on it. Did you reset anything when you learn about the gases? Did you reset anything when you start learning about the soul? It's just addition to the knowledge. We have to be open to step further, higher to the next level.
Yeah,
Nothing
that's
needs
what
to be
I
reset.
meant. Yeah, I meant mentally. We have to be prepared for new way of parameters of thinking. Um, thank you. Second question, which I have for some time, is you said that every field has its twin or parallel in the last teaching, if I
Yes,
understood
but
well.
yes.
So, is it possible that we as human beings, which is the whole lot of fields, have a parallel of us in another dimension which continue together?
Depends if everything else is kept too. The parallel we're talking about is parallel but opposite. A gravitational field has an opposite direction magnetical field and runs parallel with it. It's not inside it, but the interaction of the two creates a balanced energy, what we call the position, omega position.
Yes, for example, for those people who have imminent death and come back and they say they have seen the whole life coming and passing other than video, but is it that parallel world which they are living when they go the other place out of this body? This parallel life which is
The
shown to them?
possibility, there are a number of possibilities what they see. And depends on the field and the strength and what the position is. If you go through a lack of energy in the matter state and you cross the line of energy transfer where you see the field strength of the soul of physicality interacting with the soul of the man, and you see the light, bright light, which is exactly what we see daylight of the man, is different. Then it depends, do you go in what I call physical coma of the man, and you go into the memory story of your life in the hard disk of the physicality. And then you have access to hard disk of the energy side of you, the same as you have in the matter state. You have a memory of what you did with your mom 20 years ago. Your soul has a memory of the same thing, but in different package because you saw mom did that to bother you or to make you happy. It's another level of information which this carries. You understand? And this is what people, in which level they enter. And because we have this memory disk of the physicality of the hard disk of brain of the man, we record both sides of it. But we don't distinguish between which and which.
Yes. And I just thought if we change the parameters of triangle, can we change the position of the soul of the man?
If you can change the time, if you can change the place, and if you can change the position, yes. Now everything is up for grab. Everything is up for play. The hardest part will be who will understand the game of time. Now we have a time machine, which in fact is not, we can create the plasmatic condition of the place. We can create the plasmatic condition of position. We can create the magnetic condition of position. But how you create the magnetic field of time, that you can change the time and then you see what changes, is a different game. We are about 10 years maybe far to teach it, maybe more. Because if you understand how to change the time, you play the game of the creator.
Yes, I hope we will be there and see these things. Thank you.
Oh, we'll see. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
Okay, so Mr. Keshe, Jedi Simon in the webinar chat here has taken exception to the word possession, and here's his logic on it. He says, I believe possession is not the perfect word to explain the concept and introduces a little confusion. I'd rather use plasmatic domain, referring to a bubble, area, zone, or defined spatial, temporal, or density of plasmatic field dimension. Is this a correct interpretation of the possession definition or concept?
You can interpret what you like. If it brings you to understand the process of creation, call it doodle-doo. It doesn't make any difference. It's understanding possession is the control of magnetic gravitational field strength change. You are capable to change field strength. And changing of field strength does not exist in vocabulary of man because he never understood can. But in the new systems we developed, we can change. So it's a parameter unknown. So how you want to define it? A parameter which can physically create the position or change of the field strength is one of the biggest, most important factor in the world of creation. Otherwise, everything will be constant because it's one field strength. In the world of magnets, you get a steel, you get a what do you call it? Piece of metal. One second. We produce magnets by changing current and the voltage. And I don't know if you've ever done this because it's something I used to play with a lot. I'm sure Rick and other people, knowledgeable people who are here can tell you. You can change the strength of the magnetic field, a magnet, a piece of magnet, by amount of the currents you and the voltage you put through it. You can make it stronger, weaker, according to the machine which makes magnets and decide the strength of the magnet. It's the same in the world of the energy, but man has never had the knowledge to change the strength of magnetic field. Man has managed to create a huge magnets, forcing them to go as fast as possible by using another dimension of field. But the man has never managed to increase a magnet. Put two magnets just sitting there and suddenly the energy increases. Because they are dependent on the matter state which makes them the fields to be radiated. If you can change the magnetic field of the plasma of the elements of a solid magnet, you don't need to put current through it. And this is what we're talking about. So we can change the plasmatic magnetic fields. And there is more or less, to my knowledge, there's only one way to be done. And that has been set up in the structure of the, what we call the new space reactor. Some of you who will have the pleasure of being able, if you can organize it, it can be done, to literally physically request and see what's the outcome. It's just you go, there is a place in Vienna called the Chocolate Factory. And when you go to this chocolate factory, everybody has the same raw material on the table. And then they let you to mix what you can mix to make your own chocolate. And nobody makes like the others, all independent. Because the raw materials, chocolate is there, but you decide what you want to add to it, what you want the mixture to be. And it's the same. We never had the opportunity to be able to choose what we want because we never understood it, that we have such a choice. And now we have. And when you come into the session, if you get a chance, you can ask what happens if I change this parameter. And we don't tell you there are a lot of hidden things in this structure which we never mention. We won't let you know what we do in the background. And then you see suddenly you change producing CO2 into hydrogen. And then you see maybe the weight changes with a slight change in one parameter because we change the gravitational field, magnetic field, the strength within the system. We know what we are doing. You are not aware of it because knowledge is not there. And I say, oh, when I created the hydrogen, the weight changes or nothing changes, but the magnetic field changes. We watch 6, 7 parameters, which is more or less is the first time we see a control of the spaceship in the dimension of the interaction where I can move some people in physical matter, some people in the soul level, and some people in time. It's a little ball. You don't understand anything, but inside it's so complicated. But we have developed it. We can control it, and now we'll let you to touch. And in the future, maybe in a few months' time, a few years' time, it's what you sit as a control panel, the way you sit here now in the power station, you decide who gets how much power and whatever. We decide, okay, this guy doesn't have any the strength of his soul to do a transmutation. We send him with a UFO because his emotion is not stable. Now we have this power. Now we have knowledge more than the power to create conditions. Time machine was a dream of, I had even Americans recently, oh, we have managed something to make time. And I thought, have you? If you listen to the Americans, a lot of rhetoric is coming out of America, and especially in NASA and the rest, that a lot of things we teach in knowledge seekers in past few months and weeks is becoming their knowledge. They have, but they don't. If they had, they would have shown it. This is why I decided I'll show the presentation in Beijing. And the American International Market Corporation shows the technology in Beijing. There is one choice left. Americans and the Chinese will talk to each other to bring it together. If you go on Mark Ray website, you see an amazing thing. If you don't understand it, too, it's nothing, but if you understand it, it says code 9661, the Space Research Development. All of you, we fought for years to get this title. I had a discussion for hours with John. He said, Mehran, they won't give it to us. Impossible. That's why we became water energy company. We are the 27th company on American stock market with this code. 26 are military defense. And you cannot get unless you are in military defense. So we can show space technology openly as a corporation. And we show it. Americans say they have a time machine. Americans say they have managed to do what do. Keshe Foundation is putting on the table with challenge. As a CEO and chairman of the Market Corporation, it is my responsibility to bring everything on the table that gives credibility to the knowledge and the stuff sustaining by different nations, the technology which belongs to humanity on the banner of the Keshe Foundation. We don't give any secrets, we don't promote anything, but now we are there to change the space industry with research and development. And we are openly, Beijing exhibition is not for you not to say, oh, how it's made. It's to show we are there. We can show openly one of the most prestigious places in Beijing as an American corporation, which stands the time of testing by public. Is challenge the time, challenge the knowledge, and challenge in bringing everything as it is. We are the command, we are in ahead of the time. They say, we put a time machine on. We show it to you. You decide, you change a parameter, you decide if you create lift and motion. If you attended the London ambassadorial meeting, it was a black box type thing in there and the digits on the top. Now you create those digits because we are confident enough that you will see what is supposed to be seen. Representative from the Chinese Space University will be there. People from the military sides connected to the defense technology will be there. Sure, American, the Russians will be there. I've already had a number of meetings with Russians and they're delighted to be in this presentation. Delighted to see. When you come on a structure pre-range, in a way which I usually do my things, next to us is the Saudi royal family structure. Learn something about it if you understand mold up. Science is not very far from mold up politics. When in late 1990s, I gave a green light to MI5, MI6, that we have achieved what we set to do, literally wiping out the financial assets of the IRA and Priestley, the priest, which is a terrorist more than anybody else, but it was British, that we have reached the point that the Queen can submit. But it was very hard for British monarchy to give a signal of submission to Vatican. And the way it was done, as many of you know, President Clinton, as a representative of the royal family of Britain, a monarchy, accidentally met with Champagne, supported by the Vatican, shaking hands on the street while one was coming out of the bakery. In the world of politics, small gestures, hidden gestures, are submission to a lot of understanding. And nothing in the structure of the Keshe Foundation sits behind by accident. Those of you, if they don't block us, we hope not, you will see a lot of Saudi high-level next sitting to us in the exhibition. You will see a lot of Arab clothing in and out of the building around us. Nothing is coincidental, but we can make it to look coincidentally happen because this is what is the norm, what is the trend. Any other question?
There was a question or maybe some confusion about Mark Ray. Is it it's traded on the OTC platform? Is that correct? Not the NASDAQ at this point.
No. At this moment of time, we will not take Mark Ray into NASDAQ. We don't need to. There is no need for it to be done. At least as a chairman of OTC, with Mark Ray, I don't see a position for it. It can change anytime. Microsoft traded out of pink sheet for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
There's advantages, but that's the job of the, what do you call it, stock market.
Okay, good. We have a hand up here with Azar. So with the tradition of having questions from real people first, please go ahead, Azar. Hello, Azar. Your microphone's open, but can't hear any sound.
Hi, Mr. Keshe. Hi, Greg.
Thank you.
I couldn't see it. Maybe my question is repetitious, but if you look at the place, position, and position, we can play it in macro and micro. Say, place, say, is the Earth, position is human, and then what is my position here?
What do you mean?
What is my position if I'm on Earth and my position is human? And what is my position? I want to go to moon. My position is going to be any entity there. What is my position there? I'm not clear about the position on Earth and on the moon.
I don't understand what you're trying to tell me.
So if I'm on Earth and my position is human, what is my position?
The magnetic field of your amino acid.
That's my position. Okay, so when I go to moon,
you possess that field in the essence of the soul that in the place of Earth gives you the manifestation of man as a physical look.
Okay, when I go to the moon, there is no amino acids, so my position is going to be different then. Whatever is
yes.
Okay, and then can you play this in a micro? For example, you're in New York, on Madison Avenue, you want to go to Paris, and then you can play that way as well, yeah?
You can play anything. Can I speak about the videos you've been sending me?
Of course.
You don't mind if I mention a few things?
No, not at all.
Azar has been traveling to the most holiest places for me in Iran in past few days. And she bombarded me with the videos from the villages which are only Zoroastrians. They are known as the Zoroastrian villages of Iran. And when you see the videos, when Azar walks through these villages, and the way she's with one of the most knowledgeable men I know in this field, when you listen to him, you get this sense of, I've been there, I lived that life. And how time has frozen in these villages. They still have the schools of Zoroaster. They still have way the Zoroastrians lived. There are still people, some people living in these villages. And the way they used to dispose of the bodies, the dead ones, and the rest of it. I went through a journey with Azar in past week, the most amazing time. That how we change the life of simplicity, which stays with these villages, with the modernity of the time of today, with more destroying each other, where the ethos of Mitra and Russian life was so simple, and it still is simple. It gives you a sense of, do I need to live in 21st century in New York, where there's so much pain, or can I live in a parallel time in this village with so much joy? Two parallel time, humans, and sense of different emotions. And how people respect each other, and how people value each other, and how we expect the others to be. We went a few years ago with the Keshe Foundation, Space Technology, everything, to the Austrian government. A doctor from the Austrian government told us, we don't need your technology. Austria doesn't need advanced technologies. We want to stay where you are. Take your technology out of Austria. We are not prepared to support you. I said, what? And now they want to know how much taxes we can pay them. It's the same time, the same people, but I can take my knowledge to another country. They respect it, they value it, they expand it. These idiots, woman sitting in front of us, says to us, Austria doesn't need you, your technology, please leave. We don't support you. It shows different side of the same point. We sat there and said, why? We don't need to move. We carry on with our work. That's what we did. And it was the best thing, because they cannot interfere with what we do. They cannot dictate what we do. They cannot support. So we are literally a massive research structure, now going to the American stock market, now working out of China, now working out of other places. And what country we are in, they don't want to know, we don't exist. They don't want our bank accounts. They don't want nothing to do with us. And I live in a time capsule where we have the best support from the Austrians in supporting the Keshe Foundation. Has something changed? Is there a difference between that village, city of Lens, and what we do in Beijing or what we do in New York? Or do we live in different time zones, the same physicality, the same place, the same what we call possession? Can I move everybody by time to one place that we are all the same? Going through the cycle of knowledge, going through the understanding of knowledge of the creation is not easy. And not everybody can grasp all of it. People will listen to all of it. Do we increase the level of our soul? That's what we've done in Austria, more or less. We said, okay, we are in an isolated island. We don't get disappointed. We just do what we have to do. We have a purpose, and we carry on. Or could we just move out, change place, and do something else somewhere else? But the good thing is that nobody's got anything to do with us. We are in an island of ourselves, and that's it. And this is the process which we need to understand. Do we live in different time? And can we create a condition that we all live by the ethos of Rashta in Lens, in New York, And then with understanding of that elevation of the soul, it's nothing to do with gravity, we change the time. Even the place is still Earth. And this needs a lot of maturity to understand.
Mr. Keshe, how would that work in terms of, well, two questions or two different people in YouTube who are commenting about situations in the world, from KKK444KKK, who says there's so much pain for the Palestinians that are still starving and even not water, dying not only from the bombs. And they said, I thought that you have been helping those that needed it. And they say, I really cannot understand. It was announced the project to feed starving people, and then it was told to be a proof that the technology worked and so on. And I wanted to just combine that with another, whether you had a comment about the recent explosion in Iran, in the port in Iran, in Bandar Abbas, and sort of connect these. There's events all over the world, basically, of extreme conditions, and how can we approach that, or how do we perceive that in terms of what you were just saying?
We will live in a dynamic society, mixture of societies, and a lot of combinations. The system for Palestine was switched off some months ago, a couple of months ago, I was told by our team, and moved because of our evolution in technology and systems. When the peace talk came and everything is stopped, we stopped that process. At this moment of time, I don't see a way to bypass this, because people who we were at part of process working with to establish in a bigger way, we have disconnected with, even though we keep close work with the Palestinian side. In the past week, with the new development in science and technology of our work, we can reopen the channels back into Palestine. We understand that a lot of things happening, and a lot of things needs its own time and position, but we have not, in a, in a physical way, reopened the channel for Palestine for past 2 months. 3 months, when they start talking about peace and everything stopped. We stopped because we could not see many people connected to it. We can restart again, but I don't see a structure in that way for us to be in it. We are looking at, or I looked at it past even 3-4 days ago, how to reopen the structure into Palestine. We have the technology, but we didn't see in the last part that much uptake. And that's where we are with the Palestinians. With the Iranian situation, I have no clue. I don't know what exactly happened. Nobody knows. And whatever they know, we don't know. As we saw, we had such explosion in Beirut some years ago, which a big part of the city got burned out. These things happens in the port. You can't connect one to another. Is it sabotage? Is it government? We see these things quite often in materials held in the ports, or is it done by, you can connect and put anything to it? I have no knowledge. And I actually haven't had no time to look. I'm fully aware of it. I get barrage of pictures coming from the port of Bandar Abbas. No understand. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Because even the government says that they are still trying to find out. We're spending more time nowadays with our work in the arena of bringing the Keshe Foundation as a technology, as a commercial structure internationally, and then actually haven't had time. I work nearly 20 hours a day. Haven't had time to structure anything else but to, because we have to change from the roots up, and it needed to be done that way. And those of you know, it's a lot of time, even now today, is getting spent on around the structure of the financial side and the commercial side of the technology to bring it in the level of the what I call primarily a space. But we have to do a lot of other things, total awareness on what. You hear something, but you don't know how much is taken to do things.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I think Azar has done her questions. Let's see. We can open up some of the questions in the Q&A here. Start with Gerhard, who says, "Good morning to all. In the 586 Knowledge Seekers Workshop, it was said that there are two types of cosmic ray materials. A, for embedding in products, and B, the certified balls. I understood the certified balls are part of the new universal currency. Does that mean the materials integrated in everyday items like soap holders or devices are also part of this currency, or are they just for functional or energetic use?"
They are functional, energetic, as a currency. The foundation will make an announcement as part of our work. You all been, and a lot of you have been buying cash coins as an internal currency of the Keshe Foundation, and with the full awareness of the European Central Bank as an internal, what you call, exchange platform. As now we become a bigger structure internationally with our own, what do you call it, way of thinking, you will see that the cash coins will take a new shape and new structure as part of a bigger structure in the near future. Those have no value as a what do you call it, products of the soap and everything else in the cosmic, what do you call it, structure of the currency. They're two different things. And the cosmic ray, what we call as a balls, will become as part of the, what we call, cash coin. We are planning things into it, but in the future, we'll bring it out. There's a reason we are doing it this way. And I'm trying to be very diplomatic, not to give too much away. But those of you who bought, as I said, market shares, make sure you have a certificate for your purchase as soon as possible. Those of you who bought cash coins and then you spent it and you bought things with it, depends what's left of it. It's very much like the cryptocurrency. And those of you who bought coins, you'll be given a very different option, which is very prosperous for those who did. Hold on to it. We have every single coin purchased. We have registration of it. We know who it is, what it is. We know how much has been exchanged. Then we use this as an international currency in a very, very short time. As part of the work of our commercialization. You got to understand, knowledge seekers, very clearly, those of you who listen. I have a very, very tricky position, extremely tricky, and I have to be very careful. I, as a person, hold intellectual right to the knowledge. As a person, I am the CEO of the Keshe Foundation. And as a person, I am the CEO, Chief Executive Officer, and the Chairman of the Market Corporation. Up to now, we had no problem. What was between my knowledge and the Keshe Foundation, because everything belongs to. Now we have international commercial aspects to it that makes us to be very careful in what we talk, because somebody sitting here say, oh, he said such a thing in his teaching, and then he's creating such a problem. So you have seen I'm very, very prudent about these things, because I know people who run in problem for less than this. So when we tell you things, we cannot refer to, we never refer to stock market or Keshe Foundation or in my name as a majority shareholder in Macrae. This, what is taught in these teachings, is exclusively for the teaching, nothing to do with us. Those who come and listen to us and go and play with the shit, that's their problem, not ours. And I'm fully aware of it. A friend of mine suffered very badly with this, and I listened to him and he said, you never do this, Mehran, you never do that. Some of you know him as a very explosive public figure in the British life, and he was about to buy one of the most prestigious chain stores in retail market of England, world, and the night before or the day before, he was about to make a bid to take over worth hundreds of millions. His wife said something which by law became inside trading, and he was banned from buying it, and from then on he turned back on the British industry. And this is so sensitive, these things, anything to do with the stock market, even when your wife talks, can affect the, what do you call it, the position of the stock market. So I try to be very prudent as now as a CEO of the Market Corporation, as a stock market company. What, especially in teachings, you notice in past few weeks, I'm very keeping away a lot of things, because now we have to announce it first in the market before we tell the knowledge seekers. The knowledge seekers want to know before we tell the market. And it's a very fine line I've been playing. And according to the games played, we have to play the game. And don't get disappointed Mr. Keshe does this and that, because now I wear 3 jackets. Before was knowledge seekers and the knowledge. Now we have commercial side, being appointed or being the CEO of the market. People can misinterpret or do the things they want, and we cannot do that because it affects the shares in the market and values of it, and we don't do. Because the same guy I tell you about his wife, I came across him because he went into the stock market and he said he's going to make 2.2 million profit, and he made 2 million profit, and they kicked him out of the stock market as the CEO of one of the prestigious companies in England by 200,000 pounds difference in what he was expecting and what they actually did. And then he came out taking revenge on them, and then his wife took a second of not knowing. She was too cocky that they're going to do this. And he said, I learned one thing from him. You never talk in respect to a stock market, but unfortunately we have 13, 14, 15, 20 years of teaching in the Keshe Foundation openly. But now when it comes to the other side of the operation, which is commercialization of the Keshe Foundation, even those who work with us are aware of with us, we don't talk, even they don't talk outside. You will see in the board of directors of the Keshe Foundation be announced soon how people you see amongst us are trusted with the more biggest, most powerful structures to come. Because we've been the real past the test, we work as one structure. And we can't even announce that because they are on the, they know what the purpose is, they know what we are doing, but there are those who are mischievous. We have people who use the Keshe Foundation, close people as you know, they use our structure, they use our finances to traffic drugs for their own benefit. We were not aware of it till we found out later on. And we learned to keep our mouth shut. We have people who use the Keshe Foundation name for other things. Here we cannot do that. We got to be very careful, especially me holding 3 jackets. I have to know which jackets very what and what I say in public, that people don't take it into the other side, that to make a point to stop the development of the technology. Now officially recognized as a space research development company in the international stock market, we have to follow a lot of rules. Doesn't fit into the work of the Keshe Foundation, but it's the only way we can play it to spread the knowledge, and then with it bring the ethos of the Keshe
Foundation. Okay, you'll have to kind of guide us as to what questions are off limits, you might say. But I think
no, we try to understand. People have to understand, because whatever we do officially, once we announce the board of directors of the Keshe Foundation, which already all of them have accepted their position, they know who they are. It's a 12-member board. When they're announced, because they are not in position yet till we release it the right way, then we have the other structures behind us. And then even they, as your friends, people you know for 10 years, whatever, in knowledge seekers, whatever, they have to watch what they say, because whatever they say can affect the share market, public or private. It's a different game. We came for this, but this is one of the ways to spread the knowledge and the technology together, because then it's proof of it. And this is why we tested the social media past few weeks. If you notice, I never put things out in social media. We've been on the YouTube, we've been on the Facebook we have what, 70, 80, 75,000 followers on the Facebook. I never posted anything on Facebook. And now we effectively targeting social media to spread knowledge in a correct way. And we are having other influences. We have other connections, which are the structure of the running of the Keshe Foundation on this teaching. Knowledge seekers will never change. I stay free man to teach. Nobody can tell us. But we have to watch where those are the enemies of us try to use it for other things. It's very easy. You see how suddenly you get banned from the YouTube, you get banned from the Facebook, or you suddenly appear somewhere else. It's the same people. We have a lot of enemies who don't want to see this change. We saw it, they poisoned me, and then when they said they are sick, they killed Fabio. They knew before when it's going to be killed. We know the information is exactly. They have no scruples. They have no ethics. We learned, step by step we learned. And now we have to be more careful because we're in public domain. It's not the teaching of Thursdays anymore, because they come into this Thursday teaching to learn what's going on to benefit them and what it says, what we can do with it. It's a very, 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 very careful path, especially since we were requested and we accepted the position of the running of them as a CEO of the market. You've seen a lot of teaching has changed in the public domain. If you haven't noticed it, you've been absent in that level. For 7 years, they refused to accept CEO and a space organization. Now we go the new way, but we have to be very prudent that we don't damage just because we teach. And all the teaching of Keshe Foundation is to do with the knowledge and nothing to do with the diplomacy and other things which we talk about to get the what we call governor of central bank to accept the COF position is not easy, especially when they're aware of all the problems around Keshe Foundation. Any other question? In a way, let me explain to you, in a very near future, you will see, as I always told you, ex-president, you will see princesses, you will see monarchies on and around the work of the Keshe Foundation. Now that they've been waiting for it, we have 2 or 3 crown princes which always wanted to be part of the Keshe Foundation. Now with what we've done, especially taking technology into public, they are there to back us. And one of them more recently to me, I'm there, even if it means I lose my crown. As I said, these are close friends. As you've seen, one of my close friends as the CEO of the Marketing Corporation. They're trusted people in the past life of the Keshe, before Keshe Foundation. You will see very soon one of the crown princes of the monarchies of the world as one of the members of the part of the work of the Keshe Foundation in different levels. These are friends, people I know, I live through, and they're family friends more than somebody just an office friend. They've been waiting because they were not, they were afraid of what will come out back, but now with a new position in Marseille, we are prepared to stand up. Any other question?
Okay, I'll try to combine 2 people's questions here. Kiki had asked, "Dear Mr. Keshe, are you aware of the major power outage that occurred in Southern Europe this week?" And Filippo is asking more technically, is the so-called electricity the plasma of carbon-12 going through copper molecular structure?
About the European, I know, I heard of, but you have to understand a lot of problem in Southern Europe sits with French. And we are aware that the French nuclear industry, which produces huge amount of electricity to all the way even to God knows other side of Eastern Europe, they supply energy to. They are getting old, and there are a lot of pressure on what we call central southern electricity transmission supplies. You don't get blackouts by one power station. There's major problems with systems are getting old, especially the French one, and the French are not having it so easy, losing one of their main resources of nuclear material, with the problems in what do you call it, getting kicked out of the 3 countries in Central Africa, and others are learning from them. But this has nothing to do with the other side, but primarily we will see more and more failures unless huge amount of infrastructure finances are not spent inside. It's very simple. Things are old and need to be renewed, and nobody has the money to do it because there's no more colony monies, and a lot of the money was wasted somewhere else. colonial time of Europe, taking from everything, is gone, and partially we see changes, but you have that. And we'll come to it in time. We'll see more and more. There's a huge problem. We know sitting in what you call Eastern Europe. In section of your energy will be there. You got to realize what I said before. In the cycle of the work of the Keshe Foundation, any economical development or whatever will be announced through our financial side, which is a public, and within minutes will go right across the world. In teaching of the Keshe Foundation, like knowledge seeks knowledge, those who want to seek the knowledge of whatever they're here or you've been around, anything we announce on the commercial side, which is to do with energy or whatever else, within minutes, once it's released, it becomes every newspaper around the world will publish it. Because we are part of the FX, the share market, insurance companies buy shares and the rest of it, and worldwide operation looks at these things. So I have an answer for you, what's going to happen, but that's it when it comes out of our financial side and not from the what they call teaching side. But from the teaching side, there is no solution for the energy shortages which is about to come more and more. It's a combination of a lot of things coming together, and we'll see the outcome. Is there a need for distribution network in energy? Is there a need for distribution in gas? Is there energy need distribution and control of the transportation the way it's today? And we have a lot of cartel also look after these things. And they have a lot of things to prove. What happened when you put the gas units in millions in the market that they just have again. When you come to the exhibition in Beijing, you will see 4 cylinders. We are not so much in knowledge. You don't, as knowledge seekers, we don't. But you will see there, and I'm sure they go on the social media, we can produce any gases in the solid state matter, and 4 of them are shown in the exhibition. And if you choose any of these into the world of technology, world of commerce, will change the world of energy. And we're not talking about something. These are what we shown are one of our systems for production of gas to the one of the world leaders expecting to come out with it that this is what's going to be a blah blah blah, and it got caboodled.
He got what? Caboodled? Is that what you said?
Yeah, they got caboodled. They destroyed it. Even kaput. And was done deliberately in one way or another, was done outside deliberately, we don't know. It's an English terminology, sometimes used in Manchester area. It means they tampered with it.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Well, disadvantage of living in England too long.
I think it's actually made it to Canada as well. It's just I wasn't sure I actually heard that word, and I haven't heard it for 30 or 40 years.
It gives the age away, doesn't it? The whole essence is we will see a lot of changes. I mean, it always happens, part of the evolution of man. But what is interesting is how the African nations, one by one, are taking their place. We were told Africans are always poor. We never said that. We are robbing them. We're taking everything from their pocket. We're taking their gold and we never pay taxes for it. And we become rich. We take uranium, we don't pay for it. They paid the share 80 cents a kilo for uranium to export, and they charge France $200 a kilo. 30-time difference. How could a nation survive? Of course, they were under poverty. They all how many? 320 billion taxes to one country, one gold mine. Said you don't pay taxes to get back, and they're spending the money because the gold is still needed. 100% goes in the pocket of the nation. The change you call the structure is changing because we become aware of. But the worst thing is, I always say, we produce gold. What's going to happen to the African nations? Get up, standing, we take the leg off them. But on the other hand, we give them support in a different way. African structure is well set. We planned it well in advance. How it's going to be done. There was a huge support in the African nations. Any other question?
Yes, of course, we've got a few more here, if you can bear with us. Antonio mentions...
knowledge. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
The knowledge seekers who were with us last Friday, please, the knowledge seekers who were with us last Friday, please, after the teachings, give us about half an hour. We meet to complete the sessions for Thursday to next Tuesday, please.
So we'll restart the same Zoom number and gather in Zoom, you mean?
Yes, please.
Okay.
It's just short meeting, and we want to understand what happened, and then we'll see what we instruct, because what you tell us from your experience the past few days decides how we're going to set the system for Tuesday. Go ahead.
Okay, we have a couple of questions about time, and Antonio makes the comment, it is interesting your teaching of today because a man I knew spoke about his experience. He was taken up physically in a craft and was told to look down at this gap. When he looked to the right, he saw the past, and when he looked to the left, he saw many events, some of possible future. So it makes what you're saying more real when another can confirm that time does not exist. And Nikolai asks a simple question: what is time?
In the universal language, time doesn't exist. In a seconds and minutes and hours which we have, we made for ourselves. You have to redefine time. It is a confirmation of observation of existence. That can be 1 second to me, 1 million years to a cat, and 10 billion years to another animal in the universe. Depends what we leave as a trace of existence and a time and period of observation. Time, the way we measure on Earth, according to the rotation around the sun and the rest of it, and we even have a nuclear time machines and atomic time machines and quantum time machine, does not exist. Your speed of time, if you speed up or strengthen the magnetical gravitational at the same time, which is a very difficult thing, but the technology has been given to the Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers to then build the machine. And this is the part where we at the same time can travel 100,000 times faster than the time. Then this becomes irrelevant. What's the speed of light? Because even the speed of light cannot catch up with the time. If you understand the difference. Time is the point of observation and the existence to be observed, and depending on the observer. And in fact, there is no time in the universe. But the existence, confirmation of the field, the strength of it, creates that to be confirmed. We are here 60 years time of the Earth, but we are here 1 millisecond of time of the universe, most probably less than that. So what time are we in? Do we carry universal time, galaxy time, Earth time? What about the Unicos time? So we have to understand, or reference point to what? Is a child which is born and dies at birth, goes through a rapid time evolution, which could be the span of another universe, or a man who lives here for 100 years does not even catch 1 second of universe. Time is created out of interaction of the plasmas of the creation, in a way, field of creation, and has no dimension, is the only factor which you cannot create it, but it creates itself out of the interaction of the other fields. Mass doesn't exist unless gravitational magnetic field interact. Weight doesn't exist unless you bring another combination in interaction with. And it's unreal because it's something man-made to explain position, time in respect to his understanding. Time, the way we allocate it, doesn't exist. Time is zero. Only exists the time, the window of opportunity of confirmation of existence. We don't exist. There's a very difficult explanation of, but if you understand it, if you stand, let's say on the Mars, and look at Earth, man doesn't exist because we cannot see the man with the naked eye. If we have a better equipment, better facilities on Mars, and we look at the Earth, we see the mountains maybe, then something secular rotating, we see details of sea or whatever, but we cannot see the man swimming in the ocean or a man walking on the road. That time for man does not exist. To the observer, there is nothing here. There is no time. No time of life of the man was in the sea, because he doesn't see it. When you create a better, different field of vision, and you see the man and how long he swims, that's the time you observe that man, because after that man going off the water, you don't, because you don't have to feel this thing yet. It goes in the car. So we are time dependent on observation of the space when there's evidence of life, evidence of existence, not life. And life, again, you have to explain what it is. Manifestation of observation. Could be a rock, could be a man, could be a cat, could be an alien. We haven't managed to create a machine which makes time, but out of interaction of the fields, we create the illusion of existence we call time. Any other?
Xabo in the Q&A asks, can I combine using, excuse me, plasma glasses and plasma mirrors with the cosmic ray twinity?
You can do anything you like. Create a new dimension. Why not? Never ever stop anybody, unless it's hazardous, to stop you from experimenting, to find new frontiers. I stopped. I advised you a lot. Don't touch lead, don't touch aluminum, don't touch something else, because you don't understand this magnetic field of it. It's the strength of the neural system, and it can interfere with it. You will do funny things. So we prefer you not to do funny things, because sometimes funny things are good, but some funny things can be bad. And then it becomes the damage to a lot of things, which to you yourself. So if you feel safe, it's your job to test you. It's our job to expand the frontiers of knowledge.
Okay, speaking of expanding the frontiers of knowledge, Xabo's first question was, my underarm sweat glands produce a lot of sweat, and sometimes there's a very unpleasant odor. I would like to hear your opinion on this issue.
Two or three things. Don't use gases which you think are going to help, because it'll be good for a few days and then it goes, because knowledge seekers have not learned how to use the gases for this purpose. Secondly, if you really, what do you call it, understand the process, is like, have you ever sat in front of a Chinese man eating a pot of chili and he walks away and you touch one of it, you sweat like God knows what? The Chinese don't have a sweat glands. Especially those who come from the south of China, because they eat chili like nothing, and as is tomorrow, as is nothing. I touch it, I run like a cat. Some of us don't have sweat glands, or our sweat glands threshold has moved up that we can eat hot food or stand hot weather. You walk into Africa, you don't see them hanging around with a handkerchief on their head and sweating, whatever. I sweat like God knows. I carry a shower on top of my head. It depends how our body is, how it's tuned for. And on the other hand, there is a beautiful company in New Zealand, produces natural, what do you call it, material as a deodorant. And they are amazing. They have two types. You can use a bicarbonate and without a bicarbonate one if you're sensitive, but it stops all, more or less, your sweating, but it's natural. They use total natural material, and they're taking over this market quite heavily. And so they have a special name in New Zealand, and they have found a way from New Zealand materials to make this thing. So you even sweat, you never smell. They have managed to trick the odor conversion. and it all depends on the body, what chemical interaction you have.
Okay, a couple of questions from Andu, who says, hi, everyone, and thanks, Mr. Keshe and team, for the shared knowledge and for saving the world. I would like to ask if we, the human beings, as the most advanced technology in the image of the Creator, can we make our body to be in a state of 0-point energy so we can take our body while time traveling without the need for other external technologies like spaceships? When I say external, I mean any tool or energy form outside of the human being body, despite the fact that everything is interconnected as everything is energy.
Can you repeat that? You want to read it again?
I'm not hearing you, Mr. Keshe. I don't know if it's at my end or your end.
Can you read it again?
I see there were microphones working, but I somehow am not getting the audio.
Can you hear me there? Hello.
Oh, people are saying in the comments that they can hear you. So, turn up volume. It says, let me consult my. Oh, somehow the volume got turned down here. I should be able to hear you now.
Earth, are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you now. That was strange. Okay.
This is Planet Zeus.
It's the auto volume turn down button function. Let me see, where were we? Did you answer that question that I had asked, or?
No, I asked you, can you read it again? Because I didn't understand.
Got it. Okay. So he's saying that I would like to ask if we, the human beings, as the most advanced technology in the image of the Creator, can we make our body to be in a state of 0-point energy so that we can take our body while time traveling without the need for other external technologies like spaceships? And when I say external, I mean any tool or energy form outside of the human being body, despite the fact that everything is interconnected as everything is energy.
Yes. Of course you can. We all can. It's not what do you call it? It's understanding one process of creation and knowing how we control and how we have the control of the fields which makes us inside and the fields which creates our image outside. As you know, in the West now, most of our banking system, most of our the structure of work was on a face recognition. And always laugh at it because you make your payments and then the bank structure tells you Can you open your camera? We need a face recognition that is you who's ordering. So you keep your camera open, they take a picture or scan of your face and then say, oh, it's the right face. They use a face recognition. And so many times I think with the knowledge I have, I am going to, what do you call it, change the pattern of my face, but it's still the same soul inside. And what would it say? It says, not recognized, the face recognition is wrong. And would the face recognition become a soul recognition? And we have the capability to do this. And can we change it? Yes, we do. We can change our aura. We can change our physics. And then if you can change your aura, you can transmute. Because that dictates your position in respect to the position we are. And if we don't have the fear of it, we can move it. And this is part of the test we do with the knowledge seekers next week. Because when we run the tests, we see everybody is going very well, and one of the knowledge seekers panics in the session and everybody else goes nosedive. Because they're all connected to each other. This is why the test we do next week with knowledge seekers is we use one captain, and if you got the trust in him, it's his job to take it there, which is we set him not to have a fear of, to be afraid of, and the rest of it. And if you do that, you can change the dimension by the strength of the inner being, but you have one advantage: you can control your breathing, you can control your position of structure, physical structure. Then yes, you can.
So the second question, or second part that Andu has, it says, as far as I'm aware, the planet Earth is tilted 23.5 degrees. Are we able to realign the planet Earth once all the nations understand and adopt Mr. Keshe's technology and the human collective consciousness awakens?
If you go back to zero, there'll be no life as we know it on this planet, for sure. There'll be no trees, no seasons, no water, because this is that inclination which has given rise to this energy field with life as we call it, life on this planet. So the whole structure depends on the angle, and the more this angle increases to another dimension, another, let's say 25 degrees, 30 degrees, the angle of interaction will change, and life will not be like it is, and it won't become back one altogether to be one. Mono-energetic lives are very, 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 very rare, but very common in the universe. But even them, they use a different technology which is not open to man. But yes, you can do it. And we know this technology very well, but man has no, in the world of science, there's no knowledge of it, that you can create these conditions.
Okay, Andrea is asking, is it possible to see the video clip about the cosmic ray ball today?
Pardon?
Is it possible to see the video clip about the cosmic ray ball today?
Yes, the one you couldn't play last week.
Well,
a lot of people have received the cosmic rays, and a lot of people are reporting amazing results.
let me try to play it here. You were saying that it seems slow or something when it may be that it just is at a lower resolution that from your phone or something as well. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Let me try to play it.
Okay, if you're knowledge seekers, 49 of these balls has been dispatched, and a lot of you have received it, and we see it. Try to, when you receive it, do different things with it. We see, just even the past few minutes, I received a message which is amazing. You see, just observe the light. You see how you see the light? Those of you who receive this cosmic ray units, and you have, some of you had these built into your system, some of you have this, or you have cosmic ray bundles, you have Trinity sets. Try to play with this in conjunction with those, and see what effects you see. The creation of the material inside is not compact, is loose. So no two similar seconds are the same from energy point. No two positions are the same position is the same because it's different mixture inside. It's deliberately made in this composition that the center is never static, is never fixed. It reacts to your emotion, it reacts to your even emotion and how you twist it. If you use it in conjunction with different materials you take them from the Keshe Foundation, you'll see how it reacts to you. And how we are getting the reports because they've all been delivered now, the first batch. And it has a very interesting effect on different people. Those of you who receive this, you must have received the certificate with it. Every single ball is registered. And these balls worth a lot of money, not financially, it will cost you, it will gain a lot of value, but it worth testing with your own emotion, your own time. Hold them in your hand, create a dimension of what do you call it, the star formation base. 1 your soul and 2 of these in a position, and move your hand up and down. Move them to the side and see where, which pleasure, which feeling it gives you. Now you have created dimensions. And if you can tune into it, and what does it bring you? What distance from it, what distance you, what you use in conjunction with others, and how to change the environment of your partner, imagine your cat and the rest of it. Any other question?
Okay, let's see here. See, Lomberger, or Jean-Marc, I guess it might be, is asking, where can I post my testimony about the feeling of the cosmic ray balls that I received on April 25th? Thank you very
it's one
much.
of them. It's called Testimonial, isn't it?
We do have a testimonial page, and we also have the testimonials group, which is on the second Monday of each month, starting at the 8 p.m. Central European time. And that would be a good place to post your testimony.
Or send it to info@keshe.foundation, testimony of cosmic ray balls. These balls will change many of your lives. I know what we put out, and I know what's going to do. Hidden or in a different way, you will receive energies which enlightens you, changes your life in a positive way, because now you're connected to that higher level emotion or dimension of fields. And I've seen in past 3-4 days a lot of reports, especially past week, a lot of reports of people who have received it and how it's interacted with them. Those of you who bought the system inside Cosmic Ray added to, you're going to have a fantastic time. And I know some have already. And the next batch of these will be sent out in June, July. We have already put out around about 70, 75 units, and it took a long time to get it. The next batch is in June, July, maybe another 30, 40. And we keep on supplying this till we meet all the orders. But those of you who just been through with these testimonials, I've just read another one recently, just come in. It's amazing how it's affecting people. Shall we call it a day?
Sure, yes. Gone quite long here today.
Yeah. I hope we managed to share a new knowledge, a new change, and gradually to build it up in the next step to the next line of understanding. Will it be very nice, those of you who receive these cosmic ray balls, to place it in like a ping pong ball where it's free to move, and connect the ping pong ball with let me see if I can show you. You will have a crazy time with this, the pleasure of it. Let me share this. I have to go in this new system. Where is it? The whiteboard this here now. If you get the two balls and put them into two ping pong ball like and connect them and put yourself in the middle in line with your soul, then tell us how you feel. Tell us if you manage to transmute. Tell us in what you see, in what dimension you come to. Then change it to different position that is in the front and the back. And then tell us what vision you see. Those of you who've been with us in the sessions of past couple of years, we use this combination quite a lot. But now with cosmic rays, it's different ball game. In a way, you tap into the universal energy. And don't say, I dreamt, because it's not a dream anymore. You become part of the universal structure. And don't move your head too much, because as these balls move, they release different energy, it locks into your different system. The pains you have, the lumps you have in your body, and the name you, the emotion you have. Just watch how you get elevated. And let us know. It's amazing. You can take energy from the universal, these cosmic ray balls, feeding the soul, and soul supporting the physicality, elevating the soul of physicality. Ask other people around you if they see any changes in you. But don't use it too much, maximum a few minutes a day, even a week. Because knowledge has to be understood, and the whole thing has to be accepted by the soul of the people. Some of you who might attend Beijing exhibition, if they allow, I mean, if you manage to get into the hotel, I'm sure it will be another crazy time, but if you can do it, some of you will receive a surprise from us. And mainly set up for the world ambassadors, but if you can have time, spare time, we'll give you the precious nano-seekers to be able to see. It's a change in the world of science. It's a change in understanding the totality. There'll be a lot of denial. There'll be a lot of backlash from the press and the others, because this cannot be accepted to be. How come, as I always said, when I went to South Korea in 2007, 2008, the South Korean nuclear business, we were expecting this technology from America. Why Iran? And in 30 years, why now? If our South Korean nuclear physicists 20 years ago were expecting still to be fed by the Americans in 30 years, the 30 years already arrived. So, but maybe South Koreans can start believing what they see. But this technology is so advanced because it works in cosmic rays. Rays of the creation, not man-made medicine and the rest. If you receive these and following what I said with the ping pong ball, if you can drop them in a way, they are free to, because even the rotation, the speed, the material will be detected by the soul of the man, and the soul decides to receive. See what happens with you physically. Do you lose your pain? Do you see changes in behavior? Do you see new knowledge? And then you understand why we put these materials out, because it's time to enlighten the man. Any other question? Shall we call it a day?
We can call it a day, other than there's a wish from the Universal Council that I can show here and just say it, which is the Universal Council invites the Keshe family and the Universal family in unifying at the soul level every time and every day at 9 p.m. Central European Time to create the energies through the soul of the council that the scientific community and observers become enlightened as the Keshe plasma technology is shown in the public worldwide in and on the 9th through the 12th of May, 2025 in Beijing. Thank you for that. And thank you for today's show, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you very much. Don't forget those knowledge seekers, please. We meet in 35 minutes. And just for a few minutes, I may carry on.
In about 35 minutes. Okay, very good.
Okay, thanks very much and see you next week. By
Great.
the way, you saw a lot of surprise wires, a lot of orders has come in for this, what do you call it? Cosmic surprise. There's a limited number of this and we close it because we also, what do you call it, so much. And I hope you enjoy what you received. Thank you very much.
All right, great.
Next week. See you next week.
Okay, bye for now.
Bye.
All right, well, that brings to a close our 588th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here today on Thursday, May 1st, 2025. Our next public teaching workshop, let me see here, will be the One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace, and that will be the 6th of May, coming up on Tuesday. And that starts at the 4 p.m. Central European Time with members and support members of the Universal Council. So members of the public are invited to attend that show with the usual excuse me, Zoom number. That is the same Zoom ID as what we see here on the screen for the Knowledge Seekers Workshop. All right, I think that's it. We'll go out with in our usual manner with the Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit music version. And again, thank you everybody for attending today's workshop. And we will see you in the next public teaching workshop, perhaps. Bye for now.